Good afternoon. It is Friday, October 28th, 2022. There are folks that want to take the beauty of a daily relationship with Almighty God, a relationship of peace, hope, love, forgiveness, and purpose, and for some strange reason, they want to reduce that relationship to just a set of rules, a strict code of behavior, a whole mess of thou shalt nots. And quite frankly, it's usually accompanied with their condescension towards others and expecting others to live to a standard of behavior that they're not willing to live up to. The Apostle Paul used the example of Abraham's two wives to illustrate the differences between grace-based belief and rule-based belief. The Apostle Paul wanted the Galatian Christians to enjoy their relationship with God, to celebrate in their new life and their forgiveness and their desire to do the right thing with God, as opposed to the angry people who are wanting to rechain the Galatian Christians into a set of rules and regulations. Galatians chapter 4, verses 21 to 26, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition. Tell me, you who want to live under the law, do you know what the law actually says? The scriptures say that Abraham had two sons, one from a slave wife and one from his freeborn wife. The son of the slave wife was born in a human attempt to bring about the fulfillment of God's promise. But the son of the freeborn wife was born as God's own fulfillment of his promise. These two women serve as an example, an illustration of God's two covenants. The first woman, Hagar, represents Mount Sinai, where people receive the law that enslaved them. And now Jerusalem's just like Mount Sinai in Arabia, because she and her children live in slavery to the law. But the other woman, Sarah, represents the heavenly Jerusalem. She is the free woman, and she's our mother. Paul's here referring to a time where Abraham tried to take a shortcut on God's plan. God had a beautiful plan for the redemption of Israel, and Abraham was a key part of that. And so God told Abraham, you and your wife Sarah are going to have a baby. And quite frankly, Abraham had a hard time believing it. And when it didn't happen immediately, he went and had a short-term affair with his maid Hagar and had a son. And that son's life was always difficult. You see, God had a miracle baby planned, and Abraham says, hey, I'll just go have an illicit affair instead and shortcut what God has in mind so we can make it happen faster than it does in God's timing. But then God, because he is gracious, didn't backhand Abraham into nothingness. He let Abraham and Sarah have the miracle baby anyway. God's like that. We can mess up tremendously, and he beautifully and amazingly forgives us. And his grace comes in and provides for us wonderful and beautiful miracles that we couldn't even begin to imagine. And so the question comes, are we going to remain chained to a set of rules that we cannot keep? Or are we going to choose to be living by the grace of God in a relationship of hope and trust? What does your life look like? Is it a series of disappointments with yourself because you cannot keep rules that somebody else has set for you? Or is it a relationship that recognizes the glory and beauty of forgiveness and lives as a recipient of God's grace and someone who acknowledges God's forgiveness in your life, and you move forward empowered by God to leave your old life behind and enjoy living your new life. What kind of life do you have? Our hope and prayer is that you choose that life that is lived by grace, and a life that is lived in forgiveness, and a life that is lived with new purpose, and you've let aside the old life. God bless you.